Bloody numbers have been appearing on my hand. I think they are counting down to something. Part 2. Cass walked in while I was staring at the morbid mark on my skin, and I quickly covered it with a towel and made up a lie about how I cut myself shaving. She offered to get something for it, but I declined and thanked her. When she left, I looked at it again, and when I looked back up to the bathroom mirror, I swear I saw the glint of bloodshot eyes staring back to me. In another moment, I was struck with a terrible buzzing sound in my head and an odd flash of heat under my skin, like my blood was boiling or I had a terrible fever. A moment later the sensation was gone, but I was disturbed that it had happened at all. Something was happening. I thought I was sick or maybe had contracted some sort of disease. For lack of other options, I decided to go to the doctor and see if there was some explanation for this bizarre medical abnormality I was suffering after the disturbing encounter from the other day. Cass had wanted to go with me, but I convinced her to stay home. I was suddenly nervous about whatever this was spreading to her, if it was contagious. She reluctantly agreed, and I went to the closest walk-in clinic I could find. After checking in and waiting a while, I finally got into a room. Surprisingly, my temperature was normal when the nurse to it. My vitals seemed steady too, though my blood pressure was a bit high, though that was normal for me, unfortunately. A tall older man by the name of Dr. Whitaker stepped into my room and took a look at me. He asked some general questions and I explained my symptoms, and he quickly concluded that I would be needing a blood test. Everything had been going all right up to that point, but when they took out the equipment and found a vein to collect a sample, I got a strange sick feeling, like something bad was about to happen. I was about to decline and try to leave once they got closer to me with the needle. I held my breath and looked away. I was not afraid of needles, but something about this made me feel oddly nervous. When the needle found its mark and sunk into my vein, I felt a strange surge of adrenaline and a flash of fury wash over me. I heard a scream, and when I looked back at the nurse, the needle had been bent and there was blood all over her and the ground. It seemed to be shifting strangely, like it had some sort of disturbing sentience. I apologized even though I hadn't moved or done anything. I did not see exactly what happened, but the nurse left and I was alone in the room with a disturbingly large puddle of my own blood as my only company. I wondered just what had happened to disturb her and how there was so much blood from a needle prick. I considered the blood weeping from that woman who grabbed me last night, and I was worried I had developed some hemorrhagic fever or something, but if I had, why did I feel fine just then after losing so much blood? As I sat and waited, I felt a chilling silence wash over the room, and then a voice suddenly formed in the back of my mind. It sounded like something entirely alien and not manifested out of my own conscience. It said one word, forceful and imperious, like it needed me to listen for my own survival. Run! Without a second thought, and against my better judgment, I burst out of the room and ran through the halls of the office just as the doctor was coming back and two men in biohazard suits. They started chasing me, and I ran through the door to an emergency exit and managed to force a piece of rebar in the back alley through the handle of the door, blocking it momentarily. There were hurried shouts and commotions in the building, and I fled as fast as I could from the whole scene. When I had made it a good distance, I felt sick and collapsed in the underbrush of the city park I had reached. I was about to move again after waiting to see if I was followed, but I felt a ringing in my ears and that same burning sensation, and I passed out again instead. When I woke up, I saw it was night time. I did not know just how long it had been. I had lost my phone at some point. The park was empty and I thought it might be after midnight. I felt an ache on my hand, and to my horror it had happened again. The bloody mark in my skin had changed. Where the sanguine 7 had shown before, a bloody 6 lay under my skin now. I had no idea what the hell was going on, but it did not feel medical in nature, something was wrong, this bloody mark was counting down to something terrible and I had to find out what, before it reached 0. This story continues in part 3.